Welcome to the Blue Sofa. Today we're going to talk about why online selling can be so difficult and why you maybe don't have consistent sales or sales at all, even though you're doing the right things, like you're posting on social media, you have the freebie, you have some emails, but there's not really a consistent sales from that. I want to talk about this because it's very, very normal. If you heard my episode about the messy middle, it's actually what I talk about, the energetic part of the messy middle, like the mindset part of being in the messy middle. But this is the messy middle in action. So it's super normal that we are struggling with sales in the beginning of our business, and also maybe years into it before we really get what does it actually take to make sales work online. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at why sales don't just appear, what it really takes, like what it really takes to make consistent sales. And then we're going to talk about how to test if your offer actually is irresistible, because it's a big part of selling is having an irresistible offer. And we're going to talk about how to grow a tribe of people, an audience of your dream clients who actually want to buy. Not just anybody, but those people who are super aligned to your message, to your products, and who want what you have. So I remember when I started my business back in 12, I failed miserably. I shared this many times. I failed miserably. And it was because I didn't understand a very important thing. And that was, one, building a tribe, and two, having an irresistible product. Like, I had so many problems, even finding clients. I didn't even know what I was doing actually. But I mean, that's where most of us start, right? So I really felt like I don't know what I'm doing. I remember when I had my first launch for a group program. Actually, I've been in business for a few years at this time, and I had failed miserably. And that's the story for another day. But I remember I had my first launch for a group program, and I created a webinar. I had ads running. I used so much time to get this up and running and to work, which is again also normal. And then I had 4 sales, and I was devastated. I was like, I did all of this work, and I only had 4 sales. And I was like, I made the webinar. I held the webinar several times. Hvad sker der her? I mean, I did the webinar. I sent the emails, and only 4 people came. And I felt I flopped completely. But then I was also super stubborn, to be honest. So I was like, no, I want to understand, why do I feel like this is not working? Now, looking back on that launch that I created, it was actually really great, because I got 100 people into my newsletter. I through a webinar, and I sent them some emails, and 4 of them bought. And that's actually quite a good conversion rate. But I didn't know that at this time. I just thought, because my expectations weren't realistic, right? So I just thought, oh my God, I'm failing so much one more time. Because I had that backpack filled with fails and failing attempts with me. So I just thought, oh man, I'm failing one more time. But what I understood later on was that, it's never just one thing. It's not just the emails or just the webinar. There's a consistency that we need to incorporate into our selling for our clients to purchase. So when I did the same launch next time, more people came because I had nurtured the people on my email list, because I formed a relationship with them, because I built warm-up steps first. So there is such a difference between selling to people who don't even know you and people who feel they know, like, and trust you. And that's what my sales staircase framework is all about. Because selling is a little bit like a staircase. It's not a single step. It really takes multiple steps to sell, and not just to sell one time, but to have consistent sales into your business. And the first thing that is, of course, really important is that you understand what is your market, like the clarity part, the clarity about, okay, who is it that you're serving? What is your client? Who is the ideal client for this product? And what is the market? And understand, okay, how do I position myself in this market to this client? I feel this is maybe when you're just starting out, it's really difficult. When you're a little further on in your business, it's super easy to sit down and be specific about this, but most people forget about it anyways. So in the beginning, it's difficult because you don't really know, who am I in this market. So clarifying and identifying your market and your client is crucial for even building a business. So if you're just starting out, just know using time on this is the best investment you can give yourself. And if you're a little bit further on, again, using time to identify your market, your client for your product is the foundation for your sales to actually come in the first place, right? The third thing is to position your offer for true problem solving. So it has to be something that your ideal client really, really wants. And this is where it gets tricky. Because how do you create something that is authentic for you and you want to create and the market really, really wants? This is what I call the golden spot. So if you work with me in any capacity where we've been creating offers, Offer Queen, Rising Star, the Soulful Empress, what we do is always, identify this golden spot. Who's the market, who's the client, and what are the problems they are experiencing that you can help them solve. Because positioning your offer as a problem-solving offer will make it irresistible and something people truly, really understand, right? So number 4 is building your audience. That is, I call it your tribe. And the reason I call it your tribe is because we want that feeling of getting to know, like, and trust you within this tribe. So you are like the one who, I want to call you the tribe leader, right? But you are the one who are, quote unquote, responsible for your tribe, like nourishing your tribe, inspiring your tribe, giving them tips and tricks to make their life better, depending on, of course, the market you are in. So building your audience, building that tribe is number 4 in the staircase, and it is crazy important to get consistent sales. Now, some of the people I have in my tribe, I had them for years. They've been in my tribe for years. They bought several of my products. And it's such a valuable place to be, both because they get inspired, but also because I get to form a relationship with them, so that I can create products together with them that really helps them. So building an audience is really important, and not a social media audience. Now, I don't want to hate on social media, but for selling, we want to put them into your email list. So an email list is way more important than having a big social media audience. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But that is the 4th step, like building that audience. Number 5 is practicing and honing your natural sales skills. So I talk a lot about aligned business. And aligned business is like the, what do we call it? It's the air that we breathe. Like this is the foundation, but the air that we breathe is the aligned business, right? Because when our business comes from us, like people can copy your products, but they can never copy you. People can copy your message, but they can never copy your authentic voice. They can never copy the alignment that you have within yourself to the universe. Let's call it that, right? So I wanna encourage you to look at sales in the same way. So you don't have to be good at everything when it comes to selling, but you have to pick a way of selling that is aligned with you. So maybe it's speaking, maybe it's the intimacy you can create from workshops, maybe it's writing, maybe it's videos. I don't know, something that really where you can see yourself. Like not everybody needs to create webinars. Not everybody needs to create automated funnels. But if you are attracted to that, it might say something about that this is where your alignment is, and this is where you want to explore and practice your sales skills. So for example, for me, I don't think I'm ever gonna be a speaker because it's not my natural skill. It's not where I don't feel aligned. Like I can do it for sure, but it's not something that I feel in alignment with. But automated sales funnels, like sign me up. This is what I love. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing for 10 years, right? I'm super aligned with that. So depending on where you are aligned, what you are being drawn to, this is the skills you want to hone, and that can change over the years, and it's completely okay and normal. So maybe just pause for a second here, and let's just look at your last offer. Which of these staircase steps did you skip? Let's just summarize them. So understanding the market, identifying your ideal client, positioning your offer as a true problem solving for that ideal client has to be something they understand, right? Or they are looking for. And building your audience, and then really selling in a way and practicing your skills and giving yourself time to that, basically in a natural way. So which one of these steps did you skip? And what is one missing step in your sales staircase that you can work on in this week? What is the one thing we can say, okay, this is the one task I could give myself to optimize my sales? Like there might be more, but just like working on one in this week could take you a long way, right? So selling is a predictable reaction. It's not magic. And if you build each step, you predictably get to the sales instead of hoping for it, right? So this is what it takes to get consistent sales. The other day, actually been working with this client for some time, but I talked to one of my clients in one of my group programs, and she just launched, she started to like call in her tribe, and she launched a very big program, and it completely flopped. Nobody bought it. And of course she was totally devastated because, I mean, of course you have something that you're so passionate about, and then even though you did all the right things, nobody bought it. The problem was when we went through it together, the problem was actually quite clear. It was not the product the audience wanted. So what we talked about was, okay, so maybe it's too early to introduce this product to them because it is not what they're craving at this stage in her business. And we talked about how she could test different kind of offers, because she have a lot of different offers. How she could test different kind of offers to find and reveal the product that the market, aka her tribe, really wanted. So instead of like giving up or feeling like I failed or anything like that, she rose and she was like, okay, I can do this. I can see that by just doing some testing, I can figure out what is it that my tribe, my dream clients here, what is it that they really want from me. And what she did was that she started to like not launch, but do like small campaigns for different kind of products. And it was really fast revealed that one of the products was the one that the people really, really wanted. And she started to selling that more automated, right? And it made such a difference for her, because not only did she get her ad spend paid, but also like start making money off of that, and having like a specific product she could actually scale. So what this teaches us is that the product to market fit is crazy important. So if the product isn't right for the market, it won't sell, no matter how good your marketing is. Like, her lead magnet was amazing, her email sequence amazing, her campaign amazing, but the product wasn't a great product to market fit. So what do you do to make sure that your product is a product to market fit? Like, this is maybe the most important lesson I can teach you today. And that is to do a trial launch. It is called testing a minimum viable offer. And that means that you pre-sell a small offer in the same category, or you beta launch your product to a smaller audience, simply to validate the product with a smaller audience before you start scaling. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want to measure interest before we investing everything we have into this product, and not just everything we have in like money to scaling, right? But time and energy. And by doing that, you not only save yourself tons of money and tons of time to market, but you also save yourself this situation where you spend weeks, maybe months, to create a product that just isn't selling. So the reason why we want a minimal viable offer is because we want an offer that we haven't spent, month and month creating, and we want to test that. We want to validate that in a validation launch, like creating a small launch with a small audience where we actually just pre-sell and test the offer in a trial launch before we do something really big. So think of an idea you have in your draft folder. How could you test that with just maybe 5 to 10 real people? What idea could that be, and how can you bring that to your audience without doing like a huge launch? And also, like, how can you pick one way to test your idea this month before you start building the whole course or the whole program? It's totally normal that we have to test and iterate. It's not failure at all. It is a completely normal marketing, selling, product development process, and it is how your business is going to grow. And I think it's one of the things that we talk too little about. Like, we love the whole talking about how can you sell a lot of courses, a lot of programs, right? But the real behind the scene secret is that we test and we adjust, and we test and we adjust, and we test and we adjust until we find something that we can scale. And that is how business growth is created. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today is why selling is relational, and why your email list is your conversion powerhouse. I absolutely love email marketing, and it's not even because I'm a good writer, but the reason I love it so much is because it builds relations. And it builds relations with people who chose it, because they chose to say yes to one of my lead magnets and get into my tribe. When I started my business, like posting on social media wasn't even a thing. So when I started my business, it was the best practice, so to speak, was getting people from social media into your email list and then selling through your emails and having sales calls and doing workshops and all that good stuff. So that's very much the skill I have honed. But at some point, for example, Instagram blew up and everybody was talking about, oh, you need followers on Instagram, and this is how you get followers on Instagram. And it's going to be so good for your sales and so on and so on. And I was like, okay, well, let's give it a go. I mean, why not? So I took my Instagram account and I built it from 0 to more than 7,000. With all the correct skills and all that stuff. And what I found was that still 99% of my sales came from my emails. And I was like, what's going on here? And I was looking a little further into it. And what I saw was that Instagram is an amazing window display, but my email list is the cash register. So people go to my email list because they want what I have, like they want the product that I have. They go there to purchase the product, right? And Instagram is a relationship enhancer. It's a window display, like it's like walking down the shopping street and looking inside the windows, but the real conversion that happens on the email list. So let's break down why emails convert so much higher than social media and how to build an email list that you can actually sell to. So how to build your tribe, basically. So the first step is to offer a very attractive lead magnet. A lead magnet is a free gift. It is, for example, a masterclass that somebody can sign up to, and the price is... So the first step is to build a juicy lead magnet. So what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is, for example, a masterclass where somebody gives you their email address and get into your tribe to listen to the masterclass. Now, there are specific formula for creating lead magnets, so you do not just attract people who are freebie seekers. And it's very specific and it's very important. I'm not going to dive into it today because, well, then this will be like a full 3-hour class. But the thing is, like, learning the skills to create a lead magnet that really converts and become a client magnet, and magnet that draws in the right clients, that is a very essential skill for growing your tribe. Next thing is to build trust. And the reason we want to build trust is because we buy from people we know, like, and trust. And building trust is all about being consistent. It's actually not that, it's not complicated. It's just about being consistent. So when people enter into your email list, make sure that you have a nursing sequence afterwards to warm them up. Make sure that you send an email maybe once a week. It could be with a podcast like mine. It could be with something inspirational. It could be taking one of your social media posts and create an email from that. The point is to be visible. The point is to build that trust. The point is to give them something relevant. And of course, launch to them, like sell your offers. That's what they're here for. Emails convert so 6 times better, so much better, 6 times better than social media. And the reason they do that is because the people who signed up for your emails, they want to have their problem solved, especially if they sign up with a very good lead magnet. So they want to have their problem solved. They're looking for a solution. And it is normal that we sell in email. So they're completely okay with you selling. So sell your products many, many times throughout the year on your emails. So maybe somebody doesn't purchase your products in the first campaign. That's okay, because when we are operating with our email, we are operating with a term called lifetime customer value. And that means that the longer a person stays on your email list, the more relevant content you share with them, and the more relevant offers you share with them, the more value they have. And the reason why they have more value is because essentially at some point they're going to convert. They're going to buy one offer, maybe two, maybe three, maybe four offers. So to get a subscriber into your email list, into your tribe, we maybe run an ad, and it maybe cost us $2 or $3 per lead, so per person who gets into your email list. But that lifetime value of a customer might be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on an email list if you are attending to your email list the way I'm talking about here. So, being visible, sharing value, launching your products, and being consistent over time. So it's a very good investment to be consistent on your email. Also, your lifetime customer value will be different from business to business, of course. I mean, if you're selling products for $1, that lifetime value would, of course, look different than if you're selling products for $10,000. But the point is that we want that long-term relationship. And that's how you actually create a business that is also retention proof. Because long-term relationships, this create a business where people come back and they purchase from you. So we are creatures of habits, and we purchase for those people we know, like, and trust. So maybe you know it from yourself, like, where do you buy your groceries? I'm sure you buy it more or less the same place every single week, because we're creatures of habits and we like it and we trust them and we know it works. So it's the same thing with your business, basically. So imagine having 100 people who gave you the email list because they wanted to hear from you. Like, these people are interested. It's not just randoms checking you out on social media or found one post they thought were interesting. So how different would it feel to talk to them instead of talking to random Instagram followers? I know for myself, it makes such a difference. Just knowing that person actually wants to hear from me makes it so much easier for me to create content, instead of creating content and talking to people who, then actually not that interested. So maybe if you don't have a lead magnet yet, I want to give you a small assignment. And the assignment is brainstorm one idea for today. What could be an amazing lead magnet that would talk about a problem that your clients are experiencing, and how can you help them solve that problem with your lead magnet, or create some mindset shifts about how to solve that problem. So that's your baby step today. Brainstorm one idea with one problem that your ideal client have. So your list is your tribe. Treat them like gold, because they are not just for your sales. Of course, they are gold for yourself, but also as your tribe, as the people who chose to want to be inspired from you. So sales flow from trust, and that trust you can nourish and you can grow in your email list and in your inbox, right? So selling is not just about selling. I hope that I inspired you to see that selling is about relationships. It's about trust. It's about building this staircase of small, smart steps. And also it's about growing that tribe, Consistency is about having a tribe to sell to, somebody who trusts you and somebody who want to purchase from you over and over again. Now, I would love to hear from you. Like, if you want to, go to your DMs, go to my DMs and share your lead magnet idea, because I love lead magnets so much. I think it's like one of the most brilliant strategies out there to draw in the right people. So tell me about that. I would love that. And also tell me about what was your biggest takeaways from this episode. If you want to dive a little further into how does this look in real life, I have a podcast called it's one of my clients, Augusta's. It's her case that I'm talking about, and how she went from $0 to $55,000 in just 4 months. And I can definitely recommend listening to that one after this one, because it will like give you like a real life case study on how does this actually look like. Also, if you want to, sign up for my masterclass called Copy My Simple Client Attraction Formula, where I talk more about how to call in your tribe and what steps to exactly take and what mistakes to avoid. You can find it right beneath here. So, thank you so much for listening today. This is definitely one of my absolute favorite topics to talk about, and I hope it lands soft in you and you got some really great insights and maybe some ideas about what steps can you take the next. Have an absolutely wonderful day. See you.